Hey, will you turn that fan off? You turn that fan off because you're on the other side, and I can't hear well when it's on. Thank you. That one I had it on the table earlier, like when I was by myself for a couple periods, and it shakes and it just fell right over. Popped the top off that like this bit in the nozzle that turns it. Oh, it's like it's got chunks out of it. It's having a hard time. Okay, we're gonna do some practice problems. Okay, we'll just start at the beginning and work our way through. So how about I'm gonna do some of the ones from the homework that obviously I didn't assign. So how about square root of 3 times square root of 18? That was real fuzzy today. Let it do its thing. Okay. So remember, you technically do not have to put these things together. You can leave them separate. So 3, what's the only thing that makes 3? 1 times 3. You can do this. This is fine. You cannot break down the number 1. You cannot break down the number 3. That one's good. Now 18. What times what makes 18? 9 times 2. Okay. 2 cannot be broken down, but can we break down 9? Okay, remember you underline the things that cannot be broken down. What makes 9? 3 times 3. After we broke it down and we have all underlined things at the end, what do we do? We circle the duos. Yeah, 2 of the same. So I have 2 3s right there. Do I have 2 of any other numbers? No. What do we do with a thing that's circled? We say this is one group of 3. So I'm going to write 1 3. It's a whole number now. Is there anything else circled? No. So everything else that's not circled but is underlined is going to go underneath. And what operation do we use with all of these numbers? Multiplication. So what is 1 times 3 times 2? So my answer is 3 square root of 6. Thank you. They're not sharpened, but yes. Jacoby's got you though. He has an orange one. Huh? Okay, let's try the one that's right next to it. Okay. 3 square root of 10 times 4 square root of 10. Well, how would we do this one? It's almost the same thing, but now it has numbers on the outside, right? What do we want to do? There's technically 2 ways. So we want to break it down like this, or do we want to make it one big number? You want to make it one big number first? Okay, so what outside numbers times outside numbers? What is 3 times 4? Okay. Inside numbers times inside numbers. What is 10 times 10? So this turned into that. Now, that's 12 times square root of 100. So first we ask ourselves, is the square root of 100 a whole number? Does something times itself make 100? Ten times 10. So either try it, type this in, 12 times the square root of 100. Type that in your calculator. If you get a whole number answer, that means it's ready to go. If not, we'd have to break it down. So if you type that in, you might get a whole number answer. You do. What do you get? 120. The reason for that is because this is 10 times 10. That's a group of 10s. You don't have to do this part because we use our calculator. So that is the whole number 10, nothing left over, times 12, which is indeed 120. That's a whole number answer, just like 2 and 3 from your homework. Okay, let's practice one with some variables. Oh man, 60. How about m to the third, p to the second. I'll leave it there. I won't do any more, okay? So what do we do first when we have the variables? Do we do the variables first or we do it with the number first? I always deal with the number first. You go left to right. So how do we break down the number 60? Sure, 10 times 6. 30 times 2 would also be fine. So can we break down the number 10? What's that? So 5 times 2. Can I break down the number 5? No, so I'm underlining it. What about 2? So I'm underlining. I'm just working out my underlines. Now we go to 6. Can we break down 6? 2 times 3. We already decided 2 needs underlined. And 3 are all my bottom numbers underlined. Okay, Hunter, do I have 2 of the same number? What am I going to do? Okay. Now that I've done that, we're just going to move on to the M's. Gracie, how many M's do I have? So what do I do with that? So I'm just going to write 3 M's out right here. Okay. How many P's do I have? 2. How do we do circles in this case? Same thing as here. It's groups of 2. So 2 of them here. 2 M's. No more circles for M's. Ooh, B's. I see 2. Now that I have circles in everything, now we can write our answer. Do all the circled stuff. Do I have any circled numbers? What am I going to write? What's circled in my numbers? A whole 2. No, I only have 1 circle of M's. 1 circle of M's, so I put 1 M. And how many circles of P's? Okay. Now, what is going to go underneath my radical sign? Go to everything that's not circled. What numbers are not circled but underlined? What do I do with 5 and 3? So I get any variables that are not circled. 1M. Make sure that covers the whole thing. A little better, a little easier the more you do it. Yeah. No, well, you weren't here. Gracie, a little better. Did you mess up at the end though? You didn't finish the last few problems on the homework. Okay, let's do some of those. Work our way through. Now let's do some addition. You did the odd, so let's do 18. So 8 square root 3 plus 5 square root 3. With addition or subtraction, how do we know what we can and can't do? Matthew. Yep, if this part is the same, if the number underneath the radical sign is the same, you can literally add or subtract whatever these numbers are. So are the radicals the same? So we're going to literally type in 8 plus 5. What is 8 plus 5? Who said 18? Okay, I must have just been drinking and swallowing at the same time. 13. What goes after the 13? What did they have in common? Square root of 3. So you have to put square root of 3. It's like saying, oh, they both had x's. You do not change the radical when you add and subtract. You only add and subtract the number. You leave the radical alone. Okay. How about this one? Square root of 12 minus square root of 3. I'm literally just doing the evens from the homework. Are these underneath numbers the same? No. If the underneath numbers are not the same, we go Does this radical, can it be broken down? Is it maybe a double-digit number that maybe can be simplified, like we did in the beginning? Yes. So we go, what times what makes 12? 3 times 4. Well, 3 is a number that can't be broken down, but 4 can be. 2 times 2. 2's are both underlined, so we got 3 numbers underlined. Any like terms? I see 2 2's. Okay. So how would I rewrite this guy? Circled number is 2. What's left underneath the sign? The number 3. Now it says minus, so I bring down my minus sign. Square root of 3, can we break that down at all? No, because it's just 3 times 1. So we're just going to bring him down here. What number is technically in front of this radical 3? 1. Now, are these radicals the same? Yes, so what do we do with our outside numbers? Circle on the desk. What do we do with those outside numbers? We actually subtract them. So we have 2 of them minus 1 of them. So how many's left? So I have 1, and what goes after it? Square root 3. I know, I already said that. I literally said it out loud. Okay, what about, now it's just a multiplication. How about 4 square root 3 parentheses 8 square root 3? What do those parentheses mean? What operation? Distributing, which means what operation? Multiplication. How do we multiply again? What things can be multiplied together? Matthew. Outsides with outsides, insides with insides. So 4 and 8. So what's 4 times 8? Okay, radical sign. Inside times inside is? Now, first thing we should try and see if that makes a whole number. Type all of that in and see if it makes a whole number. If not, we'll have to try it a different way. It does, because the square root of 9 is a whole number. Oh, it's a big double-digit number. Katie, what'd you get as an answer? 96, that's what I got. Is that making sense? Okay, move over here. Last one with me, and then we will do board ones, okay? So how about square root 5 parentheses, and if you want, I would always put a 1 outside that square root of 5. Helps you out, right? Then square root of 2. Again, I put a 1 there. Helps me out. Plus 4 square root 2. Close my parentheses. Now this one, we have to do what? We have to distribute. You are correct. So we take all of this and do one thing at a time. So outside times outside, what's 1 times 1? Still 1. Square root, what's inside times inside? For that first group, 10. Okay. Now we'll do the second group. Outside times outside, positive 4. Inside times inside, 10. Once we do this, we ask ourselves, are these like terms? Are these radicals the same? So what can we do with the numbers in front of them? We can add them. So I have 1 of them up here and 4 of them back here. So how many total do we have? 5. And just in case we ask ourselves in our final answer, can this be simplified? 10. Can 10 be simplified? The only thing 10 makes is 5 times 2, and those are both solid numbers, aren't they? So do we have 2 of the same number in that? So can it be simplified? So since there's nothing to circle, that is your final answer. But you should always check it. Or you can still use your squares chart like Miss Weave gave you. Okay? So we're going to do more of these just on the board, okay? For you guys to do. I'm going to stop this so our